Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys the best attachments for this new season with the new recoil changes, the new grips, the new barrels, or not new barrels, but the addition to certain guns. I'm going to show you guys everything that you need to know, and we're going to essentially give you everything, even for sights as well. So if you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like, be sure to comment, and be sure to subscribe. We're on the grind to 50k. How y'all doing today? Like my new haircut? Come on. But let's get into this video. Alright, so I've talked about this a couple of times. Now, I want to go into more detail about specific weapons, because there is some weapons that some stuff will change. Now, for the most part, on screen, I will show you for the F2, for example, and the all-around barrel, in which I think, if there's a go-to barrel, it would be the flash hider. Now, I'm going to show you, essentially what each barrel looks like, besides extended barrel. Don't use that, just don't use that. The only time I've seen extended barrel being used is on a gun like Mozzie, which I still don't use, but I have seen some champions, use extended barrel on Mozzie for the longer range gunfights. But on screen, you're going to see me using each attachment, even the suppressor, because suppressor is actually really good now, especially with the new update to suppressors, and it's solid. For the barrels, for the F2, and for most guns, I would say it would be flash hider. Bro, these stupid things in the shooting range piss me off when they start talking as I'm trying to talk. The flash hider, in my opinion, is the all-around best barrel. However, there is certain times when you might want to use other barrels. Sometimes people do like compensator. Obviously, horizontal movement while shooting. I'll show you some of that as well. But flash hider for most guns is really good because it reduces speed at which the muzzle moves upward while shooting. So, for example, you look at a gun like the F2, right? It's all vertical. It's all vertical, recoil. So when you have a flash hider on, you can laser way more the more you practice. I haven't really warmed up with this much, but let's say look at that. It's way easier versus other guns where or other attachments where they don't help as much, as I showed on screen. Now there is some other guns that I want to talk about as well, but before we get into the rest of the guns, for like specific guns like Zofia and Ash and stuff like that, and Frost, I want to also talk about the sights and the grips. Okay, now sights, I'm gonna go into this. I'm going to give you a quick little tier list of what the best sights are and what the worst sights are. Now, I know it's all preference, okay? I completely understand that. However, I will state that the 1.5 times scope, in my opinion, is the best scope in the game. I will take a 1.5 times over an ACOG. I'll take 1.5 times over a 1-time scope. It doesn't matter what scope it is. If there's a 1.5 available, I am taking it, okay? Now, is that a bias? Absolutely. However, I feel like the 1.5 times scope is just so clean and so nice. Like, let me show you real quick. They recently gave it to Ace, and I think he lost his 2-time scope. Where's Ace? He's over here. I think they gave him his 2-time scope, but I used to use the red dot C because that was the closest thing to a 1.5 times scope, like the freak I am. And now that Ace has the 1.5 times, look at this. Look how beautiful this is. Like, you cannot tell me it's not the best sight in the game. Like, it's just great. Look, there's a laser. You can laser on it, but essentially what I'm trying to get at is that the 1.5 times scope, in my opinion, is the best scope. And if you cannot use the 1.5 times, I personally am a very big fan of the Hollow B, the Reflex B, and the Red Dot C. I've seen people use the Red Dot B sometimes on like Legion. The Hollow A, in my opinion, is a little bit too big. So I would say you want to, like, for what I think is the best, Reflex C is not bad either. But my go-to on a 1-time scope character would be a Hollow B, or Reflex B, or Red Dot C. Those are my personal preference favorites. But in my opinion, I think the 1.5 times makes gun just easier to control. Like, for example, if I go to Zofia, I'll show you. Zofia's a very big operator where I need to have 1.5 times. Because I personally feel like I just can't control the recoil as much when I'm not using 1.5 times. Like, obviously I have to warm up it real quick. I haven't used it, and it does still have a little bit of that horizontal recoil. But we're going to talk about that as well. But like, look, see? Like, the 1.5 times make it so much better. Okay? So now we got scopes out of the way. We're going to go to grips, okay? We're going to go to grips. Alright, now for the grips, you have the angled grip, which they did add to a lot of guns. They added the angled grip to Zofia. I think she already had it. I'm sure she already had it. They added it to Zofia. There's Ash. Obviously, Ash angled grip is insane. They added it to Jaeger as well. Okay, now let me tell you what I think about this. I think that there's no point to use them. I tried them out, but maybe Ash, maybe on the RFC. But you don't need it on the 416. If you want to, go for it. But the problem is you're going to have a lot more recoil. If you do use it on here, make sure you use flash hider. I think that's the best way. But I would say not to really use it as much as, I just don't think you should use it. I think it's a lot easier to just use the regular vertical grip. It's a lot easier. It's great. You don't need the angled grip, but it is good. The angled grip is good on certain weapons if you want to try them out. Just know you're going to have more recoil. So if you do want to use them, if you like how fast you can ADS, go into a T-hunt or a shooting range and just practice it. You're going to need to practice it, okay? But now moving on to these specific weapons, okay? So for me personally, I would say when you look at Zofia, she is one of the people where I don't use a flash hider on. I've changed it up. I use the compensator, right? So it says reduces horizontal movement while shooting. Now, if we go and we look at, Zofia's gun, if I just, don't hold it, I look, it goes up and to the left, right? And then if I do try and hold it with very little, see how it sways like this? And it's more of like a left to right rather than a twitch where it goes straight up and it's more of a vertical. So her gun is more of a horizontal type, right? So if you look at this right here, right? It's much easier to control, in my opinion, on a compensator, as it gets rid of the horizontal spray as much and makes it more of just having to pull down rather than having to pull down as much, from left to right. So I probably think for Zofia, it goes 1.5 times scope, compensator, and the standard grip. If you use an angled grip, ready? Let's see real quick, ready? It's a shit show. I'm actually terrified. I've never used it yet. Okay, that actually was not that bad. I won't lie to you. But I do think that in other gunfights, it might be a little bit of a shit show. I think if I practice with it, yeah, I can definitely use it. I could definitely use angled grip if I needed to, but I don't really use it often because, I just think I want to have the best recoil I can at longer ranges. Like, longer ranges where it's going to be rough with the angled grip. But if you do want to practice it, definitely go in here. And for those of you who don't know, angled grip just makes you ADS down faster. Makes you ADS faster, which is obviously good. Then let's look at Frost. Alright, so for those of you who do not know, Frost used to only have an extended barrel as her barrels, but they actually gave her all of these barrels. But these ones, I would personally say flash hiders are the best because she'd never had horizontal recoil. She was already a laser. The only recoil she had was like a little vertical recoil control, but it's not bad. Like, literally, you're just shooting this and it's simple. It's simple. And the 1.5 times is the best one to use, obviously. Like, why would you not want to use 1.5 times? But look. Bro, this gun is a laser. She's so good now. Especially with her 1.5 times and her new barrels. Like, bro, she's even more of a laser than she was beforehand. Like, bro, what? Look at her. She's insane. She's insane. Alright, so when it comes to smoke or any SMG-11, right? This is a big thing. They also added an angled grip to him as well, or to his gun as well. God, this sounds terrible. But before I show you that, the attachments that I would think would be flash hider. I mean, yeah, there is some horizontal spray to the SMG-11. Like, if you do look at it, you're gonna notice that the gun does have a horizontal spray. Like, I mean, right there, it didn't. It's mainly vertical because I have the flash hider on. But when I have the flash hider on, it's just vertical. Like, it's much easier to control, right? So, I personally think the flash hider is the best for that. And they do have angled grip now. I actually have not given this a try yet because why would I? The SMG-11 already is a scary weapon on a controller. You know what I mean? But like, I mean, if you want to use it, go for it. But I don't know. I just don't think there's a need to use an angled grip on a SMG-11. Most of the time, I'm already ADS. I'm already getting ready to take a gunfight, so I don't need to ADS faster. If anything, I have my shotgun out, so I'm already ready for a close range, quick gunfight. I want to have the precision with the SMG-11, so I would use a regular vertical grip on this. But I think that is just about all the guns that actually have, any value to it that are scary. And if there's any other guns that you are confused with, I would generally say just use a flash hider. I think flash hider is the best unless they have crazy horizontal recoil, then go for a compensator. But I think vertical and I think 1.5 times are the best, and then use whatever sight you really want to, but I think 1.5 times is the best. But hopefully you did enjoy this video. I will see y'all. Have an amazing day. Much love.